Right, I think we are live. It shows that we're live. Let's see. Comment section is up. I currently have 0 people watching. Let's share this real quick. And post to Facebook. Whoa, I already have 2 people on here already. Okay, so the chat room is open, so if any of you want to talk on here, you can. Let's see, how do I get this off? Oh, okay, that's easy. Hey there, Megan. Oh, I have a little emoji stuff. All right, time to get on topic here. Oh, excuse me 1 second. All right, I'm probably going to edit all this out. All right, so we are going to talk about the strange creature of Chillicothe, Ohio. Now, some of you aren't familiar with this if you're native to Chillicothe, Ohio. Some of you guys know about like Crybaby Tunnel, Elizabeth's Grave, Blood Alley over there at the Majestic Theater, the Adena Mansion. But here's a lesser known topic. And funny enough, this story does not come from Chillicothe, but this comes from, let's see, where is this at? In Carmel, Ohio. And that's just only a few miles away from Chillicothe. Let's see, am I still live? You guys can hear me and everything, right? Pretty sure you can. I'm still not used to this. Anyway. But the story here is that a 60-year-old former Marine was driving near Carmel when he saw a strange entity crossing the road. Reading it here from video, which I'll put in the link in the description when this video is posted. Get the subtitles up there. The witness described the creature as a 7-foot-tall, slim gray being with no jawline, muscular legs, and walked like its knees were backwards, and did not seem to have any arms at all. He also included a sketch in there, which I'll go ahead and type down the site below. But I'm making this video to talk about that. I have seen a very similar creature in Chillicothe before. Over in Great Show Park. There, if any of you have seen the horror movie of Silent Hill, there's a part like somewhat near the beginning, towards the middle of the film, where the police officer is going after that woman. I can't really remember the names at the moment. It was Heather's mother. And the police officer is going after her. And there's this creature. Except it was about 5 foot tall, gray. It had no arms. And it was just really weird. That creature was called the Lying. And when I first came across this was back in 2014, 15. Walking down one of these trails, and it was one of the more, I could say, shallow and narrow trails where you couldn't, if you were to look off the trail at the tree line, you couldn't really see what was surrounding you. The brush and everything was very thick. And I remember coming across this this thing. I thought it was a dog or someone in a t-shirt, white t-shirt, grayish t-shirt, crouched down in front of me, and I kind of proceeded with caution because I didn't know what it was. It could have been a dog or anything. And this thing jumped up and it sprinted away from me. I yeah, I still can't really put into words how it made me feel when I seen that. One, I was scared, so I ran off. But I never thought I'd see it again. But I'd seen this thing about maybe 2 or 3 times, and it shocks me that I'm not the only person that has seen this. So far, when I've done research and everything, it's only been like one person has came across this thing, as we know of. This is the only person that's ever came out and talked about it. But if you're curious on what I was describing earlier about Silent Hill, this movie, if you go to Google and you type in The Lying and type in Silent Hill and look up images, that's what it'll look like. But I did not know what this was. At first, what I thought was someone that was in a one of those morph suits that covers your whole body. But it's the more I thought about it and just looked back, it moved way too fast. It moved like about as fast as a full grown dog. It was very tall, like about 7 foot tall, just like this guy describes. And well, funny enough, I don't know. It doesn't show in the story of from the sources that I've read. It shows that this thing's came out like at night. Whenever I've seen this thing, it's came out during the daytime. It's normally around fall time when I've seen it, or near the fall, so the late summer, and it's moist outside. There is moisture. It has rained or it's started to rain. Well, rain started to rain, kind of the same thing, but the weather looks like it has potentiality for rain or a thunderstorm. But I don't know. I just kind of I only found this out like a few days ago, looking up the paranormal in Ohio, and that someone had seen this creature. Now, someone else might have seen it. He's been too afraid to talk about it. Which I haven't told much people about it either. I mean, if you would have seen like what I seen, I don't think you'd really want to like openly talk about it a lot. It took me some courage here to do this because people would obviously call you crazy and insane. There's only one person that I know of that lives here locally in Chillicothe who said that they have seen this thing. No, actually, 2 people said that they've seen this. But the way that they always described it is that it looked like the rake. If you're familiar with creepypastas at all, like Slenderman, the rake is a creature. It is a folklore creature believed to be of a humanoid in appearance, with several references in folklore. Rake also, if you've ever played that video game, I think it's called Until Dawn. It almost looks like a Wendigo. But this thing did not have any arms. It didn't have a face. Nothing I've seen at all. Now, you can take it or leave it, believe what I say, or believe or disbelieve it. I mean, but I can honestly say that I have seen this thing before, and this person that lives in Carmel, Ohio, is not alone. Back on here on the questions. No questions or statements. Um, I'm a paranormal investigator, self-proclaimed paranormal investigator, and I study into cryptids, cryptozoology. If you're not familiar with that, that is stuff that's like Bigfoot, UFOs, Loch Ness monster. That's in the line of cryptozoology. Um, I came across this thing about 3 or 4 times. One of them being on private property near Great Seal Park. This thing has not hurt me or attacked me. It's always seemed to stay over like at a distance. It's almost like very it's easily startled, almost like a bird, from what I've seen. The closest that I've ever gotten to it was like maybe about um it seemed like maybe 5 feet away from me. It was hiding behind a tree, and it just vanished. This thing is incredibly fast, and I know I'm people watching this. They're probably gonna give me a lot of shit for it and say that I'm making this up or I'm seeing things or that I'm high or I was doing drugs or something like that. No, um, paranormal and the occult and cryptids, I take that very seriously. It's part of my life. I love doing research on it. So this is not something that I would make up, but hey, you believe what you're gonna believe. So I'm just here doing my, I guess you could say, giving my testimony about this. Never ever have I heard about such a creature here in Ohio. Ohio is famous for the Ohio Loveland Frogman. Let me look that up here real quick for you. Yeah, and this creature is described to be totally different. Um, it's roughly around 4 feet tall. It is not white. Um, it has leathery skin, webbed hands and feet, and over there in Loveland, Ohio, it's said to be 3. This was nothing like that. It wasn't a man in a suit. This thing was 7 foot tall, had very abnormally long legs that seemed like they were um, misshapen or deformed. I can never describe it, but when someone told this story about this creature over there in Carmel, Ohio, and how it had backward bending legs, almost like an certain animals, like a dog, how their legs look like they bend backwards. Um, then it kind of clicked because at first when I seen this, because you have to understand it was so tall and it was so abnormally fast that it almost looked like it had arms by the way it was moving. But from this man's description on how it had backwards pointing legs, that makes sense because it would look like arms if it was running at a very fast pace, someone moving their arms when they're sprinting. I've been doing paranormal investigations for, oh gosh, since around 2013, and I've never ever came across this. The last time I came across this was like maybe, yeah, 2 years ago in yeah, in October, which was the most close encounter that I had with it. It's never made any sounds. It's, again, I never seen a face on it. I always seen it from its side or the back of it. I don't understand what it is. It does not remind me of anything that is of Native American tradition. Um, I thought at first that maybe it could have been. Funny enough, I thought it was a Wendigo. But Wendigos only come out in the winter, according to Native American lore. And if I'm correct, they're supposed to be very large and not so thin, much larger than what this creature is described as. The world is filled with many, many weird things. And I know right now I seem a bit jumpy, antsy, and just hyped up, but I just never really talked about this thing at all before. So it's exciting, and it's also unnerving because this thing is creepy. You won't understand unless you ever come across it. But this is Chillicothe, so hey, probably someone's gonna watch this video and probably try to say that they've seen it too, or create false sightings, stuff like that. And that stuff happens too. But all right, don't really have much to say on this topic at all. Over here in Chillicothe, there's always talks about things that go on Elizabeth's grave, Blood Alley, the Edina Mansion. But this is mainly more so for me to get my word out on there that this person, if you're watching this, that you're not alone. And I've seen something that is exactly the same, if not just extremely similar to it. That's about it. I'm gonna go ahead and head off here. Peace out.